Hey, Judge, was that...
I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
Ah!
Edward, come here to save the day. Okay. Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edward, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness? In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right here in this very room. Mr. Edward, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a person exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Okay, thank God, I guess that was the right way to do it. The defendant? Miss Lana Skye? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 on February 21st. Her task? To dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edward? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. This court is now in Hold on. Huh? Oh, I thought you left. Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. Hey, you can't fucking, you can't, what's the word? You can't, what's the word? You can't, tamper with the witnesses. Tamper with the witness? What's the word? You can't fucking mess with the witness thing. I forget what the word I'm thinking of is. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. You're threatening her! That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good! Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then, I've got a lunch date to meet. You can't do that. He just literally just outwardly just fucking threatened the witness. I mean the defendant, whatever. Okay, if there aren't any further objections. This court is now in recess. Judge, how are you just letting that happen? God damn it, what the fuck? Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Hey, pal, that chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Ha! I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure, I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Oh god, could he mean Maya? Why'd you have to bring her? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it that he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair, he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. I think Edward also said that too, but... Risk? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. Who's this? Is this Emma? You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Who's this? There it is, Emma. Okay. Emma! Are you okay?
Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery.
So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before.
No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved.
Relieved?
Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me.
Oh, the minute I started doing her voice, I got really tired. Hold up. I have to...
I have to take a break for a second. Oh god. Okay, I'm so close. I can do it. I can do it. I'm close. Just hang in there, B. I'm so close. Okay. 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 Let's do this. Just hang in there, man. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold.
It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall.
Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal.
Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor.
I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here?
No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth.
Let's go, White. It's time to end this. I want all cases to be like this where Edward helps us out like this. I can't remember if he helps us out in the later case. I'm sure he does. I just can't think of it right now. And I'm trying not to think of it because I don't want to, like, try to remember things. Okay. This should be the last time I save. No, just kidding. There's probably going to be more times I save. But, like, this is the last time this is the last to be continued, I think. Should be. Let's do this! Now then. Will the defendant, Miss Lana Skye, please take the stand? Miss Lana Skye, you are the chief prosecutor. I'm sure you're aware of what is required of you.
But Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. You know all that I've done these past 2 years.
Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Skye. And remember, you are under oath. We want to hear the truth.
Of course. The truth.
Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister.
Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant.
Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There is no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
Are you sure about this testimony?
Your Honor, I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure.
But Lana!
What's wrong with her hand? You see those little fucking nubbins? If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. Whatever.
That's what I've been telling you from the beginning.
Please, Mr. Wright, you've got to help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me.
But what if she's telling the truth?
She's not. I know my own sister. Whenever she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony.
Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself.
The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Why don't I just press everything and see what's up? How many years exactly?
Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, so that would be 5 years.
Detective Gant and Detective Skye were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases.
She must have been good, coming from the same school as Mia. Damon Gant was a respectable detective. That's why. There's no truth to this blackmail theory.
But think about it, Miss Skye. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail.
You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you cannot present in court is as useless as idle gossip.
Yeah.
I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. And I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself.
Did you do so to help your sister?
Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life.
But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything.
That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. And that's why I couldn't forgive him.
Lana!
So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago.
When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene.
You say you did this all by yourself?
Yes.
Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene?
It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken Prosecutor Award knife was stuck in the victim's body.
Oh, okay. What? Bebop. The Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident.
That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. The reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement.
You mean Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark?
Something like that.
If that's so, what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife.
Oh, that was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle.
That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies.
All just to protect me.
So when you found a scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what everything boils down to.
Yes. I broke off the tip of Dark's knife and planted it inside the wound, then moved the body.
You planted the tip of Dark's knife into the victim's wounds? And then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that?
You of all people should know, Edward. You've always had a good head on your shoulders.
My head isn't that bad. Or maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. I'm assuming I get a chance to ask the other question if this is not the one I need to ask. When you showed up in the scene, where exactly was the victim's body?
It was where you deduced it was, by Chief Gant's desk.
But the body was found by your desk. Why did you move it there?
The reason for that is simple.
Let's have the witness explain this in more detail. The reason this guy moved the body.
The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan.
Pieces of the jar? You mean...
Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body.
So, when you first found the body, the jar was already...
Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Neil Marshall was dead, and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during their struggle.
That's what I'm fucking saying! That's what I said earlier! I see. What's the matter, Emma? Come on, idiots!
Apparently that jar shattered at the time the crime was committed. But I have a feeling there's more to it than that.
There must be a contradiction in there. Ah, God damn it, you're so stupid!
Anyway, I committed this fabrication completely alone. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma.
So you rearranged the crime scene? And are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer?
How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it. Period.
Are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence?
She's lying! She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened!
In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions.
Mr. Wright, my sister's lying!
Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself.
There's no way she could have done that alone!
I've got to get Lana to talk more. If she's lying, then she's bound to slip up and make a contradiction. Okay, I'm tired.
I
tired, but I'm tired. So, do I just present the jar? Yes, okay, cool. Well, I guess I didn't have to press another question then. Miss Guy, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I'm compelled to bring to everyone's attention a significant contradiction within your testimony. A contradiction in my testimony. You testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. Do you have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written in a jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor must have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write his message on the jar, it must not yet have been broken before he died. Huh. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order! Order! Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regards to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Chief Prosecutor, it seems you are in as dark as we are about the truth towards which we're headed.
What?
Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive at the truth. Very well. The witness may now continue her testimony. Your message in blood. I immediately noticed that the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, and I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. You mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I don't get the pacing that they do with the text. I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time.
She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence.
Very well. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.